Hi, I'm Tim Belk. I retired from Belk 6 years ago, but have stayed involved in our community, and I'm honored to share a few thoughts with you this morning at the Augustine Literacy Project Rise and Read annual program. Many of you joining us this morning are knowledgeable about our city and are active in our community. Thank you for what you do. I know that you're here because you care, especially about education. I wanted to start by sharing some personal thoughts with you. Growing up, I was fortunate to have had a mother who provided the resources I needed to gain an education, beginning with learning to read. There were many programs: Evelyn Wood's Reading Dynamics, Typing Skills, and Dyslexia Training. Every summer and school year, there was something in front of me, and often a thumb in my back. It was hard. I struggled and struggled, but the encouragement and assistance was always there. I know there are many kids in our schools that have the same needs I do, but do not have the resources or support at home. Some students speak a different language at home. Some have caring parents who are worn down from the battle of unstable transportation, housing, employment, or childcare. 2/3 of our students at CMS are not reading at grade level. 2/3. The scope of this challenge is profound, and the implications of it are far-reaching. While there are many needs to consider in this community, this one goes to the top for me. At the Belk Foundation, we believe there are very good organizations that come alongside the teachers and help students catch up to grade level. We've seen the results and are making grants in support of their efforts. In addition, Sarah and I are personally contributing to the cause. Augustine Literacy Project is one of those organizations we're supporting because we believe in their tutors and in their ability to care for kids and teach them reading skills. They are the gold standard, serving close to 300 students annually. I've been in the schools and watched what they do. Over the years, they've grown the number of students being tutored, which is worth celebrating, but the need is in the thousands. I see Augustine leadership confronting the challenge of scale. How can we sleep at night knowing that for every one child supported, there are at least 5 more who need the same help? If I could wave my magic wand, I'd like to see corporations embrace Augustine Literacy Project in a bigger, more meaningful way. Today, there are approximately 15 companies that give financially. This number could grow to 25. The money is helpful and necessary, but it's not the most important thing. More important is for companies to encourage their employees to become tutors. I believe this could be meaningful for the employee, the company, Augustine Literacy Project, and change the trajectory of our students. I would love to see 5 to 10 new companies start with a pilot and expand based on results. Reading is a gateway issue for kids learning in school, staying in school, and moving into the workforce. It doesn't have to be companies. There are other organizations, churches, higher ed, government that could participate. If you know a person with influence at an organization that may be receptive, please let Steve Hall, the ED at Augustine, know. This is a problem we can solve. We have the tools. We just need to scale up and reach more kids. Charlotte is a can-do city. It gets people involved. It's put a priority on reading. Read Charlotte is an example of organizations coming together and laying a foundation. We can absolutely build on it. How many of you have faced a big challenge before? Maybe you've been watching and thinking, someone needs to do this. Someone needs to do something. Well, I think we know there is no other someone. It's us. We can expand our thinking, raise our sights, and take action. Just as I shared my experience learning to read, I encourage you to think about your story. Did reading come easily, or did you need help? How would your life outcomes be different if you never became a capable reader? You're likely here today because you know how essential reading is. how critical it is to improving life outcomes. Think about your personal story and all that you've gained because you're a reader. What's that worth to you? And what can you do to pay some of that back? Thank you for listening today and giving Augustine Literacy Project some of your time. Let's work together to take it to the next level.
My name is Amaya. I am 7 years old, and I am a student that knows everything.
Steve and Amaya became best little buddies almost the day that they met. Amaya is a very charismatic and sweet little girl, and Steve's so kind of quiet and reserved, and she's just so silly and giddy and sweet and so excited about whatever he has to teach her.
There were times when, there might be a day when I've got a lot going on and maybe the tutoring starts to feel a little bit like a burden, but then when I actually come in and spend the time with Amaya, I'm always thinking what was I even thinking? It is so rewarding.
I get excited when Mr. Steve comes, because on Thursday, he wasn't here, he had to go on a trip, and I really missed him.
I ask her to use words in a sentence if I'm not sure if she knows the meaning. So we were working on the word wax, and I asked her if she could use that in a sentence. She said she knew what it meant. And she said, sure, my dog whacks its tail. And I said, all right, that's a good sentence. And then I kind of explained about candle wax also. And if she knows a word, she usually puts it in a sentence right away.
If I get stuck on a word, he helps me. And if he gets stuck on a word, I help him.
I think it is very important for students to have one-on-one tutoring. The work of the reading improvement and confidence and skill building gets to be the primary focus because the relationship is already there. And the trust and the care. The children know their tutors care for them. They're excited to see their tutor and they want to do well.
One of my favorite stories was, I guess this was leading up to Christmas, the first year I tutored, and they were having a holiday party on Thursday, which was our normal tutoring day. So they had asked me ahead of time if I could come in on Friday instead. I came up to her classroom to get her on Friday, and when she came out, she said, "You forgot to pick me up yesterday." It was the first time I realized that she was definitely looking forward to getting together every Tuesday and Thursday. I know they talk about affecting two lives, and it's definitely, I know I'm helping her, but at the same time, it's certainly good for me as well.
My name is Steve Hall, Executive Director of ALP Charlotte. I want to tell you a quick story this morning, and it happened just a short time ago. We were having a meeting with one of our partners, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, and we also were meeting with CMS representative and principal of their school. And as we were talking, it was just beautiful to be in that room together as this ministry partner was finding ways to support the school in new and exciting initiatives. And they had chosen ALP particularly for their educational directives of how to enhance their community. But as that story unfolded and as we talked, right in the middle of the meeting, the principal just said, "Stop. I want to share something with all of you before we continue." And she proceeded to talk about this child who had been receiving ALP tutoring. And this principal was a bit of a skeptic of ALP when we started. But she went on to say how that child's disposition has changed, how she walks down the hall smiling, how she makes eye contact as she passes by, and how she's engaged in her classroom. She said all of those things before she even got to the literacy aspect, and shared also that the child was not only gaining progress, but was becoming one of the better readers in her classroom. I share that story because it radiates. It radiates about ALP, it radiates about its effect, and it radiates how it can be used as a tool in our community to solve the crisis of literacy that we are all facing. What's also exciting about that story is that we're getting new and valuable information on how successful ALP is. Recently, UNCC, the Center for Educational Measurement and Evaluation, concluded their study from last year's students. And what we found in that study was that the results were statistically very significant and very large. What that means is, of the 8 components that we measure in our pre and post assessment, that the lowest score was 150% growth in our phonemic awareness and digraphs, and our highest result was a 566% growth in our Morrison McCall spelling assessment. In parallel to our pre and post assessment, CMS also administers a DIBELS early literacy assessment. That is administered 3 times a year. The effect size found by UNCC was also very large and has significant impact in these children's lives. Since 2005, ALP has been committed to building a community of literacy. In particular, over the past 3 years, we've faced some unique challenges and had some great successes. Of course, everyone remembers COVID and the pivot to virtual learning that had to take place. The staff, board, and stakeholders at ALP vigorously pursued this model. It was not easy, it was not comfortable, but they knew what was at stake, and so they made the pivot with zeal and excitement. Last year, we were able to recruit 99 new tutors while maintaining our retention rate of over 80%. This year, I'm excited to announce that we will be adding over 100 new literacy interventionists to the ALP community. As exciting as this information is, the truth is that the need is much greater. ALP is committed to partnering with Title I CMS schools. For the first time this year, there are more Title I schools by percentage than any other demographic within CMS. That equates to over 20,000 students that would benefit from the intervention and services provided by ALP. So when we couple the need together with ALP's effectiveness, we can come up with a new and exciting roadmap to reach a larger pool of tutors within the county. Strategically, ALP is embarking into 4 core pillars. The first is our traditional model, as you just saw from Steve and Amaya. Another pathway of growth is within the corporate community and engaging full-time working people. We know that there are barriers that existed with ALP, barriers of transportation, barriers of the training time, barriers of preparation, and we're working fervently to reduce all of those things. Delivery of this program through a virtual setting eliminates many of them, and we're excited to roll this program out in pilot programs this fall. Another area are faith and community partners. Folks that are doing after-school programs, that have relationships in neighborhoods, that have relationship with students and their parents, and we can leverage the training and curriculum that ALPV provides and put it into the hands of caring and concerned parents and adults who want to make a difference in their community. Another area is higher education. How can we expand into higher education with the universities and the colleges and even high schoolers that exist in this community who are willing to serve and capable of serving and bring diversity and energy that we don't currently possess? We are entering our 3rd year of partnership with Davidson College, in which their curriculum is being embedded with ALP training and delivery of tutoring within the community.
There's nothing more transformative than a child learning to read. And so the value of what we do is that it is the key that opens the door to everything else that is involved in becoming literate. With my ALP colleagues, we are very much, inspired and moved and sort of driven by this desire to help children learn to read.
My name's Jack Magner. I'm a student at Davidson College. The class is called Bilingualism, Literacy, and Schooling. It's kind of an education studies seminar.
Designed to, generally speaking, to give students an introduction into not only theories and research on bilingualism and the benefits and limitations, all of that, but also to relate that to literacy, biliteracy, multiliteracy development, as well as the kinds of educational structures that support or undermine the development of a bilingual student. And in accomplishing this sort of overall objective, the course since the beginning always had a community-based component, so we call it a community-based course.
And so then within that, they also had us trained as ALP literacy tutors, and we were paired up with a student.
There's something to be said about working one-on-one and with an individual and seeing them through. And I think there's something really powerful in having a variety of people doing the tutoring. I think it's wonderful to have someone who reminds you of relatives at home, as well as someone who is an older mentor that you can look up to. And I think that's what our tutors bring to this.
I think working one-on-one with a student gives you those moments where you can still maintain like the fidelity of the lesson and like kind of the key ideas behind like ensuring that your student meets all the criteria to become a confident reader, but then also kind of use that free space that they give you to appeal to their like unique interests. Before working with ALP, I had that more broad classroom perspective, and I mean, getting that chance to work one-on-one with students then sort of, I think improved my abilities as an educator, and I think made the experience very rewarding for both of us.
I think that's what we contribute. We contribute, or what ALP contributes. It contributes a very robust tutoring model that produces results, right? That is, you've got well-intentioned people who work hard, who want to give back, and have something that actually works.
It's definitely made me want to continue to teach in some capacity. Both my parents are teachers, so I think it's always kind of been something that I've admired. ALP definitely fostered that still like stronger commitment to wanting to be involved with education in some capacity beyond Davidson.
I hope that we will be able to, on the campus, to build almost like a cadre of really well-trained ALP tutors that can then serve our community organizations in North Mecklenburg. Because we need you. We need people to do this work. Learning to read is the gateway, to everything else. The opportunities that you've been given as a Davidson student would not have been possible if you hadn't learned to read, and there's no better way that you can give back than to teach a child to read, especially right now.
Hello, ALP friends. It is a pleasure to be back with you today. My name is Allison Hauser, and I'm the former Executive Director of Augustine Literacy Project. Though no longer at the helm, I continue to cheer on our tutors and staff, celebrate their successes, and most important, tutor an Augustine student. I join you today from a school that partners with ALP thanks to a grant from the Women's Impact Fund. I share this detail because it's just one example of how local partners have helped ALP take root and grow since we opened our doors in Charlotte 18 years ago. A lot has changed at ALP over those 18 years, some of which you've seen during this program. What hasn't changed? The foundations of our approach. ALP's tutoring has always been based on the science of reading and on trusted relationships. Both are at the core of its success with students. I'd like to tell you about a relationship that is very special to me, the one with my student, Amina. When Amina and I started working together last year, she was a feisty first grader working on letters and sounds, the very basics of literacy. Amina has made so much progress. Now she's in second grade and is reading, writing, and spelling 3-syllable words, and recently tested on grade level in school assessments. You heard earlier from Steve about ALP's recent program evaluation conducted by UNC Charlotte. The results from the study indicated significant impact from tutoring. Researchers noted that the effect sizes were very large. What does this mean? It means that when you invest your time as a tutor or your dollars as a funder, you can be sure your contribution is making an impact. It means that right here in Charlotte, we have one of the most effective tools to solving a literacy crisis that exists across the country. I'm hopeful that with the additional support ALP provides, many other young students will master the basics of language and literacy by 3rd grade. But first, we need to connect more children with ALP. And that's where you and I come in. ALP's tutoring is provided at no cost to participants, but it is not free. These services require professional trainers and staff, technology, and materials. So if you have the resources, I urge you to make a gift today using the link on your screen. Reading can be taught. ALP's literacy intervention works. What does it feel like when a child cracks the code of reading? You can literally feel their sense of confidence and belonging in the classroom grow. It's also a powerful moment for a tutor. You realize you have just participated in the blossoming of a child. So please join me, whether as a tutor, a donor, or an advocate, and help ALP change the lives and futures of children in our community. Thank you.